Hey everybody, this is Michael here with Max, and welcome to the Safe Zone. This time we're taking a look at 7 Days to Die, which was recently made available on early access via Steam. You might be asking yourself, why are we not looking at more DayZ Standalone? And the answer to that is, DayZ Standalone is messed up right now. There's all sorts of issues with zombies and looting and server problems and all sorts of other madness, and we just don't feel like that game is in a state where it's good for us to show it to you at this time. That doesn't necessarily mean that it won't be cool later, but right now we just feel like it's not something that we should be covering. So, having said that, let's look at a game that we definitely should be covering. Say hello, Max.
Howdy.
So, as you can see, we've spawned into this lovely temperate foresty area, and there are vehicles here, which unfortunately you cannot drive, but you can loot instead. And looting is a very big deal in this game because it's basically what allows you to craft all the things you're going to need to survive the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, looting is pretty much 95% of what you'll be doing, along with the Minecraft-esque kind of smashing and hitting things to get cubes and blocks of them to create stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely a major, I'd say there's, a few different core kind of pillars of this game. There's, looting, crafting, survival, and combat kind of aspects to this. And, the combat also involves defense, like tower defense style gameplay, because basically you have a certain amount of time where you have daylight in the game that you have to use to find a place to secure yourself, and then you basically have to survive the night, as it were. I'm actually going to grab some wood from this tree here, Max, if you can cover me real quick. Or help me punch the tree. Wood is a very good, key, important initial thing to have because you can really use it for a variety of things, from simple barricades up through, more complex items. As you can see, you can actually punch zombies that might be attacking you with their loud, screeching voices without necessarily having to have a weapon. And as you can see, the zombies are lootable. And that was a particularly good loot I just got right there, because now I have a shotgun. Now, one thing about this game is you actually have to put the weapon you want to use and the ammo for it in your hotbar. But the trick is anything that's in your hotbar will be dropped if you die. So anything that you have there, you have to worry about losing it if you're killed by zombies. Whatever's in your main inventory, you'll keep if you die. But just keep in mind that whatever you put in the quick bar for easy access, you have the risk of losing it if something goes bad.
Which could definitely be the case if you get caught at night.
Yeah, so we're going to head out here down the road. We kind of started near the edge of the map, but we need to kind of motivate here because we don't have a ton of time before we lose our daylight. So let's head on down the road here and see if we can find a structure to pull up in for the night. I believe this is actually the same place that we spawned on our on the other server we played this on, Max.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that house that we were using as a barricade or a fortress initially is right down the road here. More shotgun shells. Delicious. So you'll notice in the lower left-hand corner there's health, stamina, food, and water indicators, and that's where the survival aspect of the game comes in. You can only recover stamina up to your current level of hydration. So if you get super thirsty and you run out of stamina, the only way to get more back is to drink water or something that will give you stamina, such as honey. One really quirky thing about the shotgun, as you can see, I just got some water off that Z. One really quirky thing about the shotgun is it always reloads all 8 shells whenever you reload it, but each one of those shells that you see indicated in my hotbar is actually a full load. So you get 8 shots per indicated shell in the inventory. Continue looting. And really, when I say pick up everything in this game, I literally mean pick up everything, because almost everything has a use. You know, you may need to convert something into something else to get the full usefulness out of it, but I've yet to find an item in the game that didn't end up being useful for something.
Oh yeah, I mean, just going over the things that I have in my inventory, like I have 2 hubcaps, and if you put it in the middle of your crafting screen, it pretty much creates scrap metal, which you can use to craft. I mean, scrap metal is pretty much should be like the currency in this game, because it's used in pretty much making a variety of different things that are gonna pretty much judge whether or not you survive.
Yeah, I mean, without without revealing too much of the advanced crafting mechanics, because obviously some of the fun of the game is discovering this stuff for yourself. Let's just say there's an advantage to keeping some of those hubcaps as hubcaps, so you have to kind of weigh whether or not you want to preserve their hubcappiness, or if you'd rather have the more generic usefulness as a piece of scrap metal.
There's shotgun shells in one of those bags, I think.
Okay, cool. I will take those. I will also take these tin cans. Bonus. So I will reveal a bit of a tip here. So you see here I have this sawed-off pump-action shotgun, and I also have a sawed-off pump-action shotgun in my hotbar. They're both kind of damaged, as you can see indicated by this bar here, this life bar. If I combine these in the crafting screen, however, I can get a fully functioning shotgun out of that, and that's basically how weapon repairs work. So something good to know, because if your weapon does become completely unfunctional, you will lose your ability to use it. And that's a bad thing to have happen in the middle of combat. So let me just take you through a little bit of the wood crafting stuff, just real basic things. So I can convert this stack of pine wood into a stack of wood planks. And then I can in turn take these wood planks and convert them into plywood, which can be used for a variety of things, such as making storage chests, or you can then further break the plywood down to make, what's the word I'm looking for, sticks. And then from the sticks you can make things like ladders or the shafts of weapons and tools and things like that. So it's actually a fairly important thing to just kind of convert items through the different states that they can be in. You see here, just from those handful of logs, I've made a stack of 264 sticks, which is basically going to be all of the sticks I need probably for the foreseeable future, and that only takes up a single inventory slot because I made them all at once like that. Most items only stack up to 64 naturally, but if you are clever in the way that you actually craft things, you can achieve stacks of considerably higher value that only still take up single inventory slots.
definitely optimal for trying to save and conserve your inventory space.
Yeah, in particular, like one thing where that becomes a real issue is in most cases you can only carry 5 water at a time. But if you craft the actual jars that you use to make water jars, you can craft them in such number that you actually can end up with sort of mega stacks of water, which are really handy for when you're running around the map and need to keep your stamina up, or if you just want to have a single stack and never have to worry about, foraging for water for the most part. But again, that's a little bit more of an advanced crafting thing. You'll get pretty far into the game and kind of have a better idea of how the crafting works by the time you get to the point where you're able to do that. I think what I'm going to do, Max, is just take some of these pine blocks and make some log cabin wood, because that'll be good for blocking these doorways.
Yeah.
So again, here's a case where I have 12 of these. If you right-click on it, it'll split the stack in half, and then I can go 6 and 6, which makes my 40 log cabin bits, which I will then put into my hotbar so that I can easily throw them up. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to seal this bottom doorway with the log cabin logs so that zombies won't be able to just waltz in here when it gets nighttime. And I'll seal the upper door as well, because it's getting to be about that time of day where we're going to have to start worrying about zombies. And one thing you notice too about the placement of items is if you click the left mouse button, you can usually rotate the orientation of an item. These blocks only have one orientation, so this isn't necessarily the best way to demo that, but if you're, say, trying to place like a fence or a ladder or something like that, you can just left-click to orient within that highlighted square, and then right-click to actually place the item. And if you know that kind of going into it, that'll save you from wasting items that you're trying to place.
Hey, how much of that wood do you got?
I got a bunch of log cabin wood, and I got a bunch of sticks at the moment.
Okay. I only say that because I think that they can break their windows.
Okay, yeah. Let me, I definitely have enough to seal up this upper area. Let me just do that real quick. As you can see, sometimes the positioning of this stuff gets a little bit finicky, and you have to kind of try to tweak it just so to get it to go where you want it to go. I find sometimes if you just find the edge of the next adjacent square and kind of get right to that point, that makes it pretty easy to do what you're trying to do. Oops, so I screwed that one up, but that's okay. Let me just get this other one where I want it, and then I can punch that other one to death. And then I can actually recover that block doing that. I'm actually going to think what I'm going to do on these so I don't block the stairway is just break the window and then put the block where the window had been, which is actually what I probably should have done on the other ones too. Yeah, because those don't stand up. Those windows don't stand up particularly well to zombies, so no reason to preserve them.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Yeah, I'm actually having trouble reaching that one, but let's see if I can One thing I find is that you don't necessarily have to be as close to things as you might think to interact with them, but it's just a matter of being able to get to the sweet spot to actually position things where you want them. Like I can't get that wood inside that window from here. Oh, there it goes. But if you just fiddle with it enough, you can finally get it. Also, like, put that on that cupboard there. There's that. Just basically just fiddling with things until you get them to go where you want. And the more you play, the better sense you'll have for that sort of thing. But like sometimes when you're trying to do it under pressure initially, it can be kind of tense to try to get everything done. Oh, zombies. So many zombies. Oh boy, big boy. Big boy got in. Yeah. Less talking, more building. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, I'm dead. Got me on the reload.
I was reloading as well.
Yeah, that was just unfortunate. I should have gone for more headshots there. I was doing too many body shots on the zombies. That's my mistake. If I'd actually taken the time to line up headshots, I could have actually killed them instead of just angering them. I'm going to try to run back to the house before my gear despawns. I should have time to do that. Hopefully I don't run into any more Zeds on the way. You really don't want to be outside at night unprotected like this. This is suboptimal at best. But fortunately we weren't so far from the spawn point that I couldn't just run back. Although I am a little bit out of stamina at the moment, so I'm going to try to walk this last little bit. Oh man, I'm out of bullets.
Oh, damn it.
I have a knife at the moment. It's like my only means of defense. Alright, I'm going to try to fill in these gaps here before the next wave comes.
I hate Zeds.
It definitely could have gone more smoothly, but actually all things considered, I think we did pretty okay there. A little more time, and I would have had this all sealed up. We probably would have been fine, but trying to play and comment at the same time is always difficult.
Especially in a game that's this time sensitive.
Yeah. So you can actually adjust the day-night cycles in the game to have them take more or less, which is cool. There's my shells. I was going to say, I thought I had more shotgun shells. The default is a 30-minute cycle, but the thing you have to remember is the more daylight you give yourself, the more you're going to have to spend time at night when the zombies are hyperactive. So I find that the 30-minute cycle kind of splits the difference pretty well. I know on our dedicated server we've been running, I have it set for 40-minute cycles, so you get 20 day, 20 night. which I think it works good for our purposes, wanting to like explore the map more and get from place to place without having to worry about running out of daylight. Yeah, the log cabin wood definitely keeps them out for a time, but it's not the sturdiest. You can see there's already a lot of cracks starting to form in a lot of these squares just from where they wail on them from the outside. But usually you can set it up in such a way where they are only breaking through one or two squares at a time, so you can kind of flush them out with your weapon and then replace the square that was broken and just kind of wash, rinse, repeat until daylight hits. What's your ammo situation like, Max? Are you hurting? Are you good?
I'm pretty good.
Okay, so we should be able to. I'm going to kind of rely on you. Well, I'll shotgun however many I can if they break through, but then I'm going to need you to cover while I replace the blocks.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I'm going to try to shoot this guy through the gap just to stop him from wailing on the outside. Nothing to see here. We're all fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, devil dogs. I think he broke a light. Yeah. Now we've just got the one light above the kitchen here.
Oh, did I shoot it?
Yeah, I think so.
Whoops.
That dome light was part of our illumination. So light is very important because light actually slows the zombies down and makes them weaker. So the darker it is in here, the worse it is for us if they break through. Unfortunately, I don't have sufficient materials to make torches. Did you pick up any cloth?
Oh, I did.
I've got sticks. If you can drop the cloth, I can make torches.
Yeah, right here. I'm pointing at it.
Yeah. Got it.
Yay!
So one thing is when you have an item in your inventory, it'll show you the pattern that you have to use to make it. So I'm gonna just make as many torches as I have items for, so we can illuminate things a bit better.
You dropped your 259 sticks.
Good looking out. Ah! You don't want to leave those behind, that's for sure. I was kind of trying to do that in a hurry, so I should have put them back in my inventory before I switched off, but that's okay. Crisis averted.
That's right, the stupid zombie dog came in.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. It stuck them in my quick bar. I don't want them in my quick bar. Game. Nothing there. Alright. Everything's fine. We're all fine here. Okay. Let's see, what time is it? It's getting relatively close to daybreak. Probably got another wave or two to deal with here. You want to try to thin them out as much as you can before dawn so you don't have to waste a lot of time dealing with them later. Ah, they broke that safe. I hope there wasn't anything in there. It's funny, the safe is still technically there. They just broke the block around it.
I remember I had a bird nest do that to me once. Like I broke the block under it and it was still there, so I could still like jump on it.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, I replaced the block, so it kind of preserved it, but I definitely wouldn't count on that safe for anything. I wouldn't keep anything valuable in there. It looks like dawn is approaching here. We might get one more wave before the daybreak.
Yeah, I always kind of guesstimate around 7. You're pretty much able to move about the cabin.
Yeah.
But
it's unfortunate that I went down that first time, but not entirely unexpected. Like, surviving that first night is one of the hardest parts of the game, because actually once you get established, it's much easier to get going and succeed in the game. It's getting through that first night, because actually the game tends to start you off fairly near to dusk, so you don't even really get like a full 15-minute day to prep. You really just have to kind of run for it and grab what you can and hope for the best. But once you survive the first night, you will be much better off as you gain more materials and recipes and access to better gear and whatnot as you search the environment. There's actually a full PvP component to this game, such that you can, allow your game to be accessed by anyone randomly, or there's a dedicated PvP like deathmatch modes and whatnot, which I haven't even really explored those aspects of the game because I'm so enamored with the survival aspect and that mode and what it kind of offers. But I mean, for being an early access game and a game that's technically still in alpha, I think this is a very complete, very playable experience for the most part. I mean, there's definitely a lot of things that they're looking to add to it that I think are awesome and will make it an even better game. But it's amazing to me how good this game is, even in its current state, versus even a lot of other games that have been in development for longer.
well, good example, since we're not comfortable with the state of the game, is DayZ. We'd really like that game to be a little bit more far along than it is, and for this game to be, what is it, $20, and for it to be fully functioning, something along the lines of that.
It's actually, from a value proposition, it's the same as DayZ because they're both being sold on early access for $30.
Ah, I was $10 off. Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're asking me right here and now, like, where would I spend my $30 on a survival game? Like, no question, at this point, that 7 Days to Die is in a much better state and much further along and has a lot more to offer as a game right now than DayZ. I mean, point blank, that's just the way it is. But who knows what state DayZ will be in a month or 2 months or 3 months from now. I'm sure they'll make progress and that dynamic will change, but certainly for the here and now, I think 7 Days is the stronger game, like, without question.